It is a busy weekend for President-elect Donald Trump. Trump and his team are looking to fill the key positions in his cabinet, and we could get an announcement on those appointments at really any time. Trump has already named his campaign manager, Susan Wiles, as his incoming White House chief of staff, making her the first woman to ever hold the title. Joining me now is Heath Brown, author of Roadblocked, Joe Biden's Rocky Transition to the Presidency. Heath, it's good to see you this morning. As you know very well, because you wrote the book on it 4 years ago, there was a pandemic and insurrection as Trump handed over power to Biden, and the outgoing administration refused to concede the race. Do you expect this time around a smoother or a smooth transition for the incoming Trump administration, given that as it stands right now, it's a very different landscape?
I do. I think President Biden understands the stakes here. He's been through transitions before, both leaving office and also coming into office. He also went through the 2020 transition. I think he understands how important it is for this to be cooperative, seamless, and a peaceful transfer of power. So I'm very confident that that's going to happen.
But as you wrote, the 2020 transition wasn't as cooperative, right? What were some of the disturbing things that happened in that handoff from Trump to Biden 4 years ago? And what are some lessons to learn from it?
Sure. There were two, really. One was that the start of the transition was delayed by about 3 weeks because the ascertainment of the election hadn't happened. Congress changed that law, and so the ascertainment process now happens almost immediately. That's what happened this year. But something happened after ascertainment, which was across federal agencies. The process of cooperation, teamwork, and sharing of information wasn't as universal and open as it had been in the past. There were some agencies where that was the norm and information was shared in a quite open and regular way. In other agencies, not nearly enough information was shared. That was a part of the obstruction that happened in 2020. People that I talked to involved in the Biden-Harris transition said that that prevented them from being ready for day one in the way they should have been. They felt that that was risky and unnecessary and that they could have been better prepared. My suspicion is that's not going to happen in 2024 as it did 4 years ago.
Right. I think that's most people's suspicion as well. You say, Heath, that during this transition, a lot of Americans, they're going to be watching to see if it is a free, a fair, open, and free of conflicts of interest. But as you know, the president-elect has business ties to foreign governments. He's probably one of the most conflicted presidents in U.S. history. The anticipation is also that Elon Musk will get a role in the administration, while his company SpaceX is a major U.S. government contractor. So when you say voters are going to be watching that, this is a transition that's free of conflicts of interest, I mean, do you think voters really care, especially when they knew all this when they voted for Trump?
I think voters care deeply. It's one of the reasons why during the campaign, American people knew who was supporting financially the Trump campaign. That was open and known. During the transition period, it becomes much less transparent. It's one of the reasons why Congress has passed a law which establishes a set of rules about how the transition period works. Two of the most important of those rules are a set of agreements that the incoming transition team will cap donations at $5,000 and then will make public the names of everyone who will donate to the transition team. That's why we know exactly who supported the incoming transition team in 2016, and we also know in 2020. It's not clear today that we're going to know the same thing about this transition team. The failure to sign memorandum of understanding with the General Services Administration is preventing the kind of openness and transparency I think most voters and most Americans really want out of the incoming administration.
Yeah, it looks like Trump has missed at least a couple of deadlines in signing these memorandums. Heath Brown, we'll leave it there. Thanks for the conversation.